Power Connection family. Shout out to my overseas tribe. It's the guy Army Esha'Al. And I wanted to tap in with y'all because it was something that I seen, and it kind of made me think back on, my situation and what happened. And what I'm talking about is the Druski situation where he exposed the church and how the pastors are, when it come to money and how they get money from the church and be driving Bentleys and all those different things, right? So he catching the lie flat, and a lot of people saying, "Oh, he going against God or he mocking God," and he not mocking God. He's a comedian for one. For two, he exposing the church because that's really what's happening at the end of the day. And I say that to say this because, saying that skit, it made me remember what I experienced when I went to the church for help. I grew up in the church and I grew up in the streets. So let me tell y'all a little story. So basically, I got locked up. I was in the streets, going to church at the same time. Didn't want nobody to touch my stash and stuff like that. So I went to the church for help because I'm thinking, okay, church there to help people. So I'm thinking I can get help from the church. So I actually went to the church to get help. My father knew the pastor and stuff like that. But I went there to get help. They sent me to one of the other pastors that, handle giving out the money and things like that. So I sat down with him. First thing he said to me was like, well, let's see if you've been paying your, tithes and offerings. And all this was after I explained everything to him, about my situation. So then he looked in the book and I told him, I said, well, look, I pay tithes and offerings when I can or whatever. I said, but I don't fill out no envelopes with my name on it. I said, I just put the money in a bucket. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that because I'm like, God should know who it's from. If it's truly, God do know who it's from, but I'm just saying, like, in my mind, I'm thinking, like, God know who it's from, regardless of who putting it in the bucket, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, long story short, he like, yeah, I don't see your name, in there, whatever. So in my mind, I'm thinking like, all right, well, what that mean? At the end of the day, so he ended up saying, well, me and some